Hello there. Today I will be talking about what has pretty much become one of my favorite low-tier ships, the Marblehead. The Marblehead is basically a refurbished Omaha, much like the Murmansk, except it loses in almost all the stats to both the Omaha, the Murmansk and the other cruisers. It has the worst anti-air, like the Marblehead anti-air is practically non-existent. It has the worst torpedoes. They do something like 6,000 damage each, and they are very, very slow. And it can only launch 3 per side. So it has, compared to the Murmansk and the Omaha, you would automatically assume that it is much, much low or much, much worse. It does have one single advantage though, and that advantage is that it has 1 or 2 extra turrets, which means or 2 extra guns, which means it can bring 1 extra gun to bear per broadside. This actually makes it a DPM monster of T5. It actually does more DPM than both the Omaha and the Murmansk. So that actually makes it quite a powerful ship, but in return for this firepower, it has no anti-air, the worst rudder turn, what was it called? I can't remember. Rudder turn rate. Anyways, it's almost 8 seconds. And it has also the lowest range, a range of 12.7. Now, the thing is, when you get to the captain perk, the 4-point captain perk, you can actually increase the range. And that's when the Marblehead turns from just a bruiser or a bruising cruiser that is good at brawling. It actually turns into quite a monster, and probably one of my favorite cruisers. Like it's a toss-up between this and the Murmansk, but I generally enjoy playing the Marblehead more because the firepower this ship has is just really, really insane. Like the AP damage on this ship is almost identical to that of the Königsberg, which is like the AP monster. And the HE damage is higher than both the Omaha and the Murmansk. So it is a very powerful ship with the range upgrade. The range was pretty much the one thing holding it back, but when you get the 4-point or a captain to the 4-point perks that increases the range, it suddenly turns into this beast, this DPS monster. Now, you can see I'm alternating quite a bit between HE and AP here. I usually prefer to use HE on this guy, unless it's obviously a crystal clear citadel I'm getting, because the reason is, much like all the other cruisers, the Omaha and the Murmansk, it has a 12% chance of setting a fire, but it has the extra guns, which means it rains down more shells than they do, which automatically means that your chance of fire is actually quite high. As you can see, this Myogi, I set him on fire twice, just raining down shots on him. So it doesn't look like he has his repair up either, it's probably on cooldown. So he's gonna eat a lot of fire damage here. And of course I'm chasing him. This is familiar to anyone who's played the Omaha or the Murmansk. Sailing straight towards someone and bringing all your guns at the front to bear, which is a huge amount of firepower while presenting a very, very slim target. Now I don't feel like chasing after him, like getting too close. I'm just gonna hammer some shots at him. Oh, and get some more fires going, since obviously his repair is on cooldown, so getting more and more damage at him is always good. There is a plane around me. I'm trying to decide if he's trying to go for me or not. If you look at the minimap, you can see there's a bomber plane. Now I see looks like he's starting to go for me, so I start turning. I make a harsh turn away. Yeah, it's clear the bomber is going for me. I'm looking at the minimap while I'm shooting. So I'm already avoiding the plane that I see going for me. Juke to the right, now I'm juking to the left. Let's see which way he drops. I managed to juke all the bombs. That was good, because I didn't want to take additional damage. It breaks stuff and so forth. But as you can see, I didn't shoot down a single plane. And that's a T5 carrier, and I'm T5 as well. So this anti-air is literally the worst. It's even worse than the Furutaka's anti-air. It's the absolute worst. So this ship has to pay heavy trade-offs for getting all this firepower, and that's turn rate, torpedoes, anti-air, they're all pretty much gone. So that's the price you pay. But in return you get basically this insane firepower, and since all these ships seem to be content at basically sitting at this 10 to 15 kilometer range and just trading shots, I'm more than happy to do that. I have no urge whatsoever to push in, because why would I? This is like the optimal situation for me. The battleships are so far away that if they shoot at me, I have time to turn and evade the shells, whereas any cruiser who tries to fight with me, I can basically bully them out because my firepower is so much better. This Kuma, I could have used AP on him because their armor is really weak, but I don't want to because he only had 6k HP and HE damage is usually more consistent. On this Karlsruhe, once again AP would work here, but anyone who's played the Karlsruhe know that they fall apart when they take HE damage, so I'm sticking to the HE and aiming for his Citadel. Hopefully I will break his engine very soon. Basically, once you break the engine on it, well, you usually have to break it twice, but it's not too hard. Or alternatively, you just set him on fire. Oh, he repaired the fire. That was risky, because now it's a very high risk that I'll still break his engine and then he'll just be basically stranded. Ah, there we go. As I was saying, now his engine is broken and his repairs on cooldown, so that's a dead Karlsruhe. And there's nothing he can do about it. He can't even evade anymore. Just basically shooting a sitting duck. You might see that my ship is constantly turning left and right. Like if you look at my rudder at the bottom, I'm constantly turning left and right because the advantage with these Omaha Murmansk type ships is that you have guns all over. If you look at the bottom left, you can see that basically you have turrets all over your ship. You're not constrained to the usual turrets that you have at higher tiers, which you have to like wait for them to turn and so forth. But you're basically like hedgehog. You can shoot in every single direction, which means you can maneuver tons. You can turn left, turn right. You can make U-turns. You can even sail in a circle while constantly shooting at your opponent with all these different guns. So that's one of the huge advantages of these lower tier cruisers, is that you have incredible mobility. And that's something you lose a bit on the Cleveland. Of course, you gain a lot of other things in return, but it's still always a trade-off. And that's why, for example, Cleveland's, well, why they are good at melting battleships, they're not as good as evading the shells, because they have a hard time shooting and evading at the same time. Whereas for Omaha, Marblehead, and Murmansk, well, this is just second nature. You can see I'm already turning. If you look at my rudder, you can see whenever I see guns aimed my way, I'll constantly be shifting this around. Or if I'm going in a straight line, it's because I'm giving a very small profile to someone. In this case, I can see his guns are aimed in the front, so I have no issues just keeping a straight course. I even dropped my speed to half, so I can get more shells on him before I disappear behind this rock. You can just see the amount of shells landing on him non-stop. Now the guns are starting to turn towards me, so I speed up and I turn. Basically always making sure I'm never an easy target to hit. And that's one of the things, because these Omaha type cruisers, the Omaha, the Murmansk, and Marmalade, even the Furtaka, even though it's not this type of cruiser, even they all have the thing that they are very prone to citadels. Okay, after the buff, the Furtaka not as much, but it's still quite easy to citadel. So you want to constantly be moving, you want to be changing your course, being unpredictable, just being very hard to hit. This Kuma next to me, he seems to be reversing or something, moving very slowly. That's just so dumb. The Kuma is incredibly maneuverable, and he shouldn't basically be playing like that. He's negating a lot of the advantages the ship gives him by his playing it more like a battleship instead of playing it like a cruiser, light cruiser. This Congo has his repair on cooldown, so I want to just set some fires on him, because he is very much dead if I get a couple fires cooking on him. You can see the unrelenting damage that's landing. Like it's 10 minutes into the game and I have like 140 hits now. So it's just this. I often call it a machine gun, the Marblehead, because that's what it feels like. It doesn't sound like much having 2 more guns than the Marblehead or the Omaha, but when you're constantly turning around and shooting from every different gun as they reload, and when you're shifting back and forth and constantly shooting, you really feel like a machine gun in this thing. It feels like you're in a St. Louis, except much more maneuverable, and it's quite fun to play and very powerful. This is turning out to be a very close game, if you see, by the way. We are currently 6 versus 6, and I have 2 bows are my carriers. Okay, at least one of them has torpedo planes, so I guess it'll be somewhat useful. In this case I switched to AP, because I don't know about his repair, and I'm close enough that I can probably land some good pierces on him. This Phoenix is horribly out of position. I'm assuming he was trying to go for some torps under New York, but go for torps on a battleship that's sailing away from you is just You want to face them head on or from the side or something, but if the battleship is already sailing away, it's going to be such hard torps to land. Well, basically this New York has to misplay to eat more than one torp. Even one torp is unlikely. Yeah, I see Königsberg. As everyone should know by now, German cruisers are paper, and they take massive HE damage, and their components or modules break very easily from HE. As I said, the New York evaded all the torps with ease. But yeah, I'm obviously using HE on the Königsberg. 1, I want to fire, 2, I want to break his shit, because he's a German cruiser. He shouldn't be this close, he should be much further away. Pushing up like this in a Königsberg, especially against the Kuma, is already questionable. Okay, they're thin armored, so he can maybe AP Citadel him. But with me nearby, that's gonna be... his shit is just breaking, he's on fire. Already broken 2 things on him, I don't even know what they are. He used his repair, so I'll probably break something new again. Or I just get a fire. Oh, and I got the Confederate, that's always nice. Breaking his anti-air, considering we have 2 bugs, that's not a bad thing, but he's dead. I mean, I got a fire on him and his repair is on cooldown. There's nothing he can do. This Furutaka is pushing up. The Furutaka is now close enough and giving broadside, so I'm naturally switching to AP. You can see he's almost full HP, I'm 20k HP. But the difference is I'm angling my armor. You can see I'm turning towards him while I'm raining this AP on him. He's giving the full broadside. If you've seen my battleship commentary, I tell you all about this, or any of my battleship commentaries, or any of my cruiser commentaries, I always mention the importance of angling armor. This Furutaka isn't, because I think he's trying to torp me, that's why. But that's 2 citadels, his engine is broken, he's down from 10k from what was 30k to begin with. And now he's slowed down because I broke his engine with the AP, and there's another 2 citadels and bam, he's dead. And I don't even know if I lost any HP. It's unlikely, because I kept swerving back and forth avoiding his shells, while he didn't avoid my shells, so I used the advantages of being a light cruiser and having turrets all over the place, and he had some advantages in that case. He had better torps, he had stronger armor, and he had harder hitting shells, so if we both angled his armor, he would have been able to pierce me much easier than I could pierce him. But he used none of his advantages, whereas I used all of mine, so it was basically a very easy duel for me to win. It's a common thing to see at this lower tiers, is people not using their own advantages, the natural advantages the ships give. This is my Ogi. Well, his repair is on cooldown, so I'm basically trying to get as many fires as possible on him. I got 2 fires on him, I want to get there we go. I have 3 fires. Now I'm already just gonna turn away. Now, you can see the prediction is showing 4 to the left. But I actually think that because I put 3 fires on him and his repair is on cooldown, he knows he's going to die, so he's going to actually either slow down or he's going to turn towards me to get some extra hits in, because he probably sees he has those 3 fires on him. So he will try to get some more shells on me. That's why instead of blindly trusting the prediction, I shot where I think he will go. That's something people often fail to take into consideration. Like, just because the prediction shows where he's heading right now doesn't mean that's where he'll go. And as you can see, he's turning towards me, as I predicted. I shot a few shells on him. I think my torps actually look really good, so I'm gonna ignore him. And I'm gonna move on to these guys. Because my torps hit, as I predicted. I didn't go with the prediction the game gave me, but I went with my own common sense. So that scored me the kill, even with the awful torps this ship has. And I even managed to get a double strike, and managing to turn this game into a win for us, even though it was very close for a long time. And now the Bogue is within range of me, which means he is very much fucked. Because the DPM of the ship on a Bogue that can't defend itself and will eat every single hit is just brutal. There's no need to use AP against Bogues, because they're so thinly armored you can citadel them with HE. Not to mention, you want to set them on fire so they can't launch planes at you. That's the end of the game. 75k XP is pretty nice. It was the first win, I think, first game of the day. And 6 kills, pretty heavily carried basically. You can see our Congo has almost no kills and no XP, because he no doubt sat in the back sniping as they usually do. Oh! I was 2,800 damage away from getting Witherer. Getting Witherer at T5 tells you a lot about how strong the HE spam is from this ship. I don't think there's many other ships that can get it with her, maybe a carrier. But yeah, a total of 159,000 damage. But that was the end of my Marblehead commentary. I hope you enjoyed it. Later.